A few weeks ago, I made a video about what Caitlin Clark's teammates really think about playing with her. And Aliyah Boston said something that stuck with me. She talked about wanting to expand her game, specifically developing her three-point shot to complement Clark better. Well, she wasn't just talking. What Boston is doing right now in Unrivaled is backing up every word. And if you're a Fever fan, pay attention, because this duo is about to become a whole lot more dangerous. Take yourself back to October. The Fever had just lost to the Aces in the semifinals. Heartbreaking finish to a season full of injuries and chaos, but also a season that proved Indiana could hang with anybody when healthy. During her exit interview, a reporter asked Boston about something Stephanie White said regarding her outside shooting. Boston didn't dance around it. She agreed with her coach. Expanding her range was the priority. Now, some folks might wonder why this even matters. She's already got Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Those two can shoot. Why does Boston need to? Here's the thing. Every team in this league knows Aliyah Boston dominates inside. That's her bread and butter. So, what do? They pack the lane. They dare her to shoot from outside. And when she can't make them pay, it clogs up the spacing for everybody else. Boston shot just 20% from three last season. Missed her last 9 attempts of the year. The defenders weren't even pretending to guard her out there. And that made life harder for Clark and Mitchell. So, when Boston said she was going to work on her range, this wasn't about her stats. This was about making the whole thing work better. Fast forward to January. Boston's playing for Phantom in Unrivaled, and she's not just showing up. She's taking over. First 3 games, 18-10 in Game 1, 21-7 in Game 2, 10-11 in Game 3 when Phantom got their first win. But here's what got people talking. In that second game against the Lunar Owls, Boston went 3 for 5 from 3. 3 for 5. From a player who shot 20% during the WNBA season and missed her last 9 attempts. One fan on social media nailed it. They said Aliyah Boston is dominating and added a 3-ball. Have fun guarding Indy next year, because that Clark and Boston pick and roll just got more scary. And that's exactly right. If Boston can knock down threes consistently, defenders can't sag off her anymore. They have to respect her range. When they do, Clark gets more room. Mitchell gets cleaner looks. The whole offense opens up. Now look, 3 for 5 in one Unrivaled game doesn't make her Steph Curry. She knows that. Everybody knows that. But it shows commitment. She's actually doing what she said she would do. Candace Parker, who does a podcast with Boston called Post Moves, said after watching the first few games that Boston's already in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year in Unrivaled. She's already one of the best defenders in women's basketball, and now she's stretching her offense. And there's more. Boston and Kelsey Plum have developed serious chemistry on Phantom. The two of them might be the best duo in Unrivaled right now. Plum's dishing, Boston's finishing, and they're reading each other like they've played together for years. That two-woman game, it's exactly what Boston runs with Clark in Indiana. She's getting reps on it every night. Now here's where it gets interesting. In December, both Boston and Clark got invited to USA Basketball's training camp at Duke. Big deal for both of them, since neither made the 2024 Olympic roster. This was their shot to prove themselves at the senior national team level. After the camp, Sue Bird weighed in on her podcast, and what she said about Boston stood out. She said Aliyah Boston is who really stands out to her. That Boston looks great right now, looked great at camp, and has now really found her game. Sue Bird is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards ever. When she says someone has found their game, that carries weight. She praised Clark too, said she looked great for someone who missed most of the 2025 season with injuries. But the Boston comments hit different. This wasn't about potential anymore. This was Bird saying Boston has arrived as a complete player, and the bond between these two keeps getting stronger. On Clark's 24th birthday last week, Boston posted on Instagram calling her my sissttaaaa and telling her she loves her and to have the best day ever.
Aliyah, using this pic as part of your B-Day post, I would love the backstory.
Well, obviously we're in Atlanta, and considering I don't remember having one good game in Atlanta.
Yeah, you did. The playoffs.
It was not a good game. I just had the very last bucket. I'm telling you, I think she was telling me, like, don't worry about anything. I don't know what, because I was looking at her so intently.
But what inspired the post of this picture on her birthday? Because obviously There are a million pictures.
I know, but this is like us. This is us in our favorite form of basketball. So she must have been telling me something she saw on the court, and I'm just looking at her trying to probably saying like, girl, I'm hearing you, but do you see the way I'm playing? That was probably the next words out of my mouth, to which she probably responded and was like, it's fine. You're good, AB. You're good, AB. That sounds about right.
That's not PR talk. That's real friendship. And Stephanie White saw this coming from day one. Back when she took the job, White compared Boston and Clark to Stockton and Malone. She said, "You've got the point guard and the center. Are you kidding me? These are the bookends you build around. These two are going to go down as the greatest." Stockton and Malone, two Hall of Famers who ran pick and roll together for almost 20 years. That's the standard White is setting. So, what does all this mean for 2026? The Fever are sitting pretty right now. With the CBA mess creating chaos across the league, most teams have no idea what their rosters will look like. Free agents are stuck, contracts are up in the air. But Indiana has both Clark and Boston locked up, both under 25, both arguably top 10 players in the league. No other team in the WNBA can say that. And here's something that should get Fever fans excited. During the 2025 season, every single one of Clark's numbers improved when Boston was on the floor with her. Effective field goal percentage went up. True shooting went up. Everything ran smoother. Boston makes Clark better. Clark makes Boston better. It's that simple. Now add a reliable three-point shot to Boston's game, and the pick and roll between these two becomes a nightmare to defend. Do you help on Clark's drive and leave Boston open for three? Do you stay home on Boston and let Clark get to the rim? There's no good answer. The Fever came within one game of the finals last year, and they did it with Clark missing 28 of 41 games. They did it with a roster that changed every other week. They did it with Boston refusing to let the season fall apart. Now imagine what happens with Clark healthy, Boston stretching the floor, and a full offseason to build around them. When I made that first video about what the teammates really think, Boston's words stuck with me. She wasn't jealous of the spotlight. She wasn't resentful of the attention Clark gets. She was focused on becoming a better player so the two of them could win together. And now, she's proving it. Every three she takes in Unrivaled. Every night she dominates on both ends. Every time a legend like Sue Bird or Candace Parker says she's found another level. Aliyah Boston meant what she said. And if you're a Fever fan, you should be very excited about what's coming. Drop a comment and tell me if you think the three-point shot translates to the WNBA. And subscribe so you don't miss the next update on this duo.